Hello everybody, and thanks for checking out another video here on Marvel Avengers Alliance Games for Gamers. I'm your host, Napalm Don, and today I will be discussing with you the top farmable items within Marvel Avengers Alliance. Another Gamecaster, Kingfisher, recently did one of the top gold items, so I wanted to go ahead and kind of discuss with you guys some top farmable items. Now, I'm not going to say free, because some of these will not be free, because they might be on a epic mission where you need a hero to unlock it, or a premium mission, but I'm going to call these farmable simply because of the fact that you don't outright have to spend money. You can spend time getting them. So I have my top list, and then I have 4 honorable mentions. I'm going to go ahead and discuss 2 of the honorable mentions first. We'll jump into the list, and then we will finish up with the remaining 2 honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention that I would like to discuss is in 246. It is the amplified subsonic gun, and it is the challenge mode version of this. The subsonic gun, it uses disoriented, and it causes seismic feedback. Now, what is cool about this one is if you are somebody who was not lucky enough to get the cube, you have this disoriented gun that will go ahead and AoE the entire enemy team and cause disoriented. That's pretty nice for people like Morbius, or if you were doing some stuff with the maddening method set. This has a 3-round cooldown, so it is similar to the Blackest Void. Now, it will not remove any buffs or anything, but it will disorient the enemy team. However, it has an exceptionally long cooldown. It's ranged, energy, sonic, and tech. So things that work with sonic attacks will work. It's tech, so Fixer and Tech Upgrade will give you a little bit of a boost. And the seismic feedback is nice, and that is, of course, very similar to Avalanche. The other item that we have is in 216, and it is the restored Vicker's gun. It is the challenge mode version of this. Basically, every time that you do an action that does not require firing this gun, you gain belt-fed ammo, and then every stack of belt-fed ammo gives you the ability to use this gun, which hits all enemies, as a quick action. This did apparently have a little bit of a time in PvP where it worked out pretty well. It hasn't really been seen too much since, but it does pop up occasionally. Also notice that the Glass Tan, which is the challenge mode version of the Bell Nemeton, is also pretty solid in the fact that it makes you ghostly until you do an attack. I did get the Glass Tan in one of the roulettes recently, but haven't had that much of a chance to use it. Alright, so now let's get into the actual real list over here. In 272, we have the Blind Justice, which is the challenge mode version of the Blind Rage. Basically, it gives your team all for one and one for all, where attacks have a chance to cause allies to join in on a single target attack, and when you are hit, you have a chance to retaliate. That is similar to the Berserking ISO. In 254, we have the Psychic Amplifier. I have this one, which is the prototype Psychic Amplifier, which is a quick action thanks to snappy service. However, when you get the appropriate, more golden colored version, it is a quick action. This was so good in PvP, it actually took a nerf. It does have a chance to remove debuffs, it removes stats, and it doesn't energize. And basically they had to lower the things from a given to being an actual percentage. In 253, this one over here, we have the chitter chatter box. The chitter chatter box becomes a quick action on the challenge mode version, and it causes flanked and cornered on the opponent. Now this is really very, very good in the current meta when you see a lot of Groots and a lot of tanks and everything like that. It also is very good offense-wise. Flanked, anytime you can cause extra attacks for free that don't cause any stamina, is very good. I used to use this in PvE quite a lot until I got the AoE flanked book. However, if you're running into a lot of Iron Fist and this combo breaker or Raft Shank, this is a little bit of a risky item. And something that I don't like about using it for the Groot meta is that unless you are trying to knock Groot out, using it to corner him, it's sort of a waste of the flank. Yes, the cornered is nice. You get him out of the way, he doesn't protect, but then you're wasting the flanked. I think if like Gamora is up and Groot is up, Gamora is the higher priority target. Unless you do not have the ability to get to Gamora, like stealthy and psychic attacks is what you're lacking, then yeah, you may want to drop the chitter chatter on Groot to stop its protecting and then have other characters wail away on Gamora. In 244, we have definitely a hugely popular item. Shows up on a lot of teams, both offense and defense. It is the Staff of Asclepios. The challenge mode version, of course, is not cracked. It does blessing, and it also heals, so it increases the effective healing, and it actually heals. Very good item for keeping Nanoplague off, because that is how you keep it off, is to have a heal going on. With the Snappy Service ISO, this becomes a quick action, so this is a really, really good item. Alright, so now we're going to jump over to Season 1, and we're going to drop down to 196, which is the Dark Sigil. This is making a little bit of a reappearance in PvP. It causes all enemies to have weak point, burning, and dark void. That weak point is pretty good because it does fix some accuracy issues. However, of course, reality hacking can still mess that up. Also sticking with 1 and 9, in 194, we have one of my favorite weapons of all time, one that I didn't have to do too much farming with, and I absolutely love this gun. It is the custom only for killing. It is a psychic energy attack, so that means it will deal damage to people who are immune to psychic attacks like Magneto. It applies a 2-round migraine and a 1-round mental anguish, which is like psychic tap from Emma. Fantastic thing, because this hits who you pointed at, thanks to the fact that it is a psychic energy attack. And that psychic tap, of course, is big damage. However, it can easily be scrolled and light fantastic off, but this is a phenomenal weapon when you want to slap something on your agent and have him hit who you want him to hit and not have it protected against. Here in 185, we have the custom possessed pistol. Phenomenal gun, does tremendous high-end damage, and it devastates defense and evasion, so it's a domino theory. It just basically gets worse for that person after that. It is also magic, so if you have something like the Crooked Branch or things that heal you on magic, it will heal you for using this. Dropping down to 144, we have one of the most farmed and greatest gadgets of all time, the Custom Magnetic Field Generator. It is a quick action item that will put a shield, a pretty hefty shield, on your team. And when the shield is popped, you get an extra turn. Really, probably a very good thing if used properly with Molly, in the sense that it could actually give her a bit of a rally type effect. And in 156, we have the power 4. One of the things on this list that I don't have, notorious for use with Parker agents and sandbag agents. The power of 4 starts cooldown, but with a snappy service, you would not lose the turn to use this, so you essentially would have 5 things that you could do in this round. Phenomenal for PvE, and, well, if you're a sandbagger, it's phenomenal for PvE because it will kill the agent. In PvP, it is pretty good for offense and survives well. If you have something like that custom possessed pistol, and maybe the ISO that says you heal when you deal magic damage, although you are going to see, this is the thing, you're going to die at the end of that. But it's a pretty good setup if you have a very heavy hitting item. You know, maybe you could run a Blackest Void in front of it at the beginning to remove all the buffs on the enemy side, and then just wail on somebody with 4 custom possessed pistol shots or something like that. So let's get into the last 2 honorable mentions. In 111.3, we have a very themed weapon, and that is the custom sword of the barony. It says that you heal when you hit bleeding enemies. I say this is an honorable mention and a themed item because of the fact that you would need to be running a good bleed team for this. However, with something like anti-venom, bruiser hybrid, with the fact that everybody's causing bleeds, the rocket pistol, you can make a pretty decent team out of that, and a good way of keeping your agent a little healthy. In 166, we have the last honorable mention of the momentum generator. This is only on the honorable mention list simply because of the fact that it only hits one ally and not everybody. However, if you have the Juggernaut will apply it to the entire team. So this is basically Juggernaut's passives in your hand, and it targets one particular hero. Now, this is really, really good if you were to drop this on Molly. And again, I call it an honorable mention, much like the Sword of the Barony, because it's very themed. You need to have it on an unarmed person, not just a melee person. So dropping this on Molly right before her infinite tantrum could be a really phenomenal way to go. You could potentially set her up with, like, flanked ahead of her a little bit, drop the unstoppable force on her, and like maybe the neurotrope or something like that, and you will probably just watch her smash everything. Now, throwing the Punisher van will not be considered unarmed, but everything else that she does will be considered an unarmed attack, so that you could probably put together a pretty good team with that. So I hope you enjoyed this top farmable items list. Of course, with the daily missions now, we have some new items appearing on roulettes, including some things that would have cost gold or a part of sets. Like a Marvel friend of mine who was saying the Memento Mori was showing up for him. I've seen the GG prototype and picked it up, quite happy about that. But some of the farmable items are showing up in those roulettes, like the custom only for killing and the possessed pistol, which is how I picked up the possessed pistol. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope it gives you some things that you can farm for. The top list mostly is just about good for anybody in any situation, and the honorable mention list is a little bit more for certain theme groups. Take care, everybody.